This is a summary of an excerpt from Max Weber's book, The Protestant Ethic and the Spirit of Capitalism, called The Spirit of Capitalism in the Iron Cage, published in 1905. Max Weber begins the excerpt by saying, "What does the spirit of capitalism mean?" and admits that answering the question is a difficult problem. He goes on to say that if anything is the spirit of capitalism, it is in an individual person, specifically, a person that is the product of history. For Weber, the spirit of capitalism exists in an embodied person who has so many qualities that altogether makes up the spirit of capitalism. Weber says that determining the spirit of capitalism from a historical point of view produces a certain understanding, and that like any phenomena, if we change the standpoint we are analyzing it from, we will change our conclusion. Weber says that in order to determine what the spirit of capitalism is, we have to start by analyzing aspects of capitalism. Weber decides that in order to do this, he will analyze a document that looks at a pure aspect of capitalism. It is a document written by Benjamin Franklin on the topic of money. The document written by Benjamin Franklin declares that time is money, and to waste time is to waste money, and that is a sign of bad character. Weber interprets Benjamin Franklin's words as not simply a means of making one's way in the world, but a peculiar ethic. The infraction of its rules is treated not as a foolishness, but as forgetful of duty. That is the essence of the matter. It is not mere business astuteness. That sort of thing is common enough. It is an ethos. This is the quality which interests us, says Weber. For Weber, the fact that Benjamin Franklin is not concerned with surviving, but with making as much money as possible, is an ethic peculiar to capitalism. Weber says that this ethic of accumulating as much money as possible disregards the idea that your well-being is the most important thing. The ethic sees accumulating money as the most important thing to do. Weber states that traditionally a human satisfaction is more important than accumulating money, but under capitalism the relationship is reversed, which is irrational, according to Weber. Weber states that Benjamin Franklin's obsession with making money is a very religious idea, because in Franklin's writing he states that the more money one accumulates is a sign one is virtuous at doing what God has wanted him to do. Here we see what Weber meant, that the capitalist spirit is a product of history. In this case, religious ideas have shaped capitalist society's ideas of what they should do. Weber says that today the idea that we should work hard as we can at what we do because it is a sign of virtue is with us today, and it is an ethic of capitalist culture. Weber goes on to state that what is really fundamental to the spirit of modern capitalism is rational behavior that is productive. For Weber, capitalist ethic is like the religious Puritan ethic of worldly asceticism. Duty that produces value is more important than our own enjoyment of life. Under capitalism, there is a belief that one should become specialized in a job and renounce the idea that humans can do all jobs. This creates the ascetic trait of middle-class life. For Weber, the ascetic lives of Puritans left the monastery and were carried into everyday life, which went on to create the ascetic culture of our current economic system. The pursuit of the ascetic life has led us to increase our value of material objects. Today we no longer justify our actions by citing our duty to our divine calling. As a result, we justify our actions by attributing them to mundane passions, like we want to be good at something. Weber goes on to say that no one knows what the future will look like, if things will get worse or if things will get better. But what we know is that we are specialists without spirit, or sensualists without heart. And what's worse is we believe we have achieved a society better than any other that has ever existed. Weber ends the essay by saying that he isn't writing to make judgments, so he's going to stop, and the future investigations should look at how this Puritan asceticism was created and what other aspects shape our society.